What's going on, people? What's going on, Sweet Dreams Nation? How y'all doing today? We'll just start with that. I got a little bit of a video today to make today. I wanted to address a situation. As many of you know, last year I had an altercation with my brother where I went back home for Thanksgiving, and we had a situation that led to me being arrested, a police report coming out, and just a false narrative being painted and smeared on my name. And for the most part, I really didn't care because I know the truth and things like that. And it was an open case, and I had a lot of other things going on around that. So I didn't really feel the need to talk on it or speak on it. Just kind of was gonna let it die out and all these things. But as of recent, there's been a lot of people bringing up my brother and the situation with my older brother. This is my oldest brother, and things like that, and trying to paint me in a certain light when it comes to based off basically this situation, based off a fight with his brother. Which, for one, I don't know who has never fought with their brother. Like, are y'all really even brothers at that point if y'all haven't fought each other before? We're like it's just weird. But yeah, I just figured I'm gonna go ahead and tell the story from my perspective and let y'all know what happened, and just leave just to put it out there, because right now at this point I feel the only story that's out there is the police report, which is complete bullshit. And I figured I'll set the story straight. So for context, understand, me and my brother at the time of this incident hadn't spoken in a while, right? There was another situation that had happened before where I tried to make amends. Ironically, it was the Thanksgiving before. I invited him over for Thanksgiving. He didn't want to come because of an argument that we had gotten into, and I just kind of left it at that, So we just hadn't been talking, just nothing. Then a little bit of time after that, I got offered to fight for the title and things like that. And for some reason, people believe that just because you have a highlighted moment or you have a moment of certain times that they're entitled to be a part of that just cause. Granted, the fact that you told me we don't need to speak to each other again. Hopefully one of us can you know what I mean, or in life, you know what I mean, just like crazy things like that, right? So me and my brother hadn't talked for a while, right? And I was on my way about to come back home to Michigan. My brother has been dating the same woman for now, I believe, maybe like 14, 15 years now. She's come in, she was a part of the family. I looked at her like a sister. I thought she was a really solid woman, loyal, and all these things for him, right? Well, turns out before I come back home, I get on a call with, we'll say, another family member. I'm not gonna say who put it out there. Because I'm keeping it, you know what I mean? I'm gonna keep this as tight knit as possible. But this family member informed me that my brother was going through some things. I've been hearing it, but we hadn't been talking. We still had our whatever. But they then told me that his girlfriend, his fiance that had been in our family for all this time, had been having an affair with her boss, right? So she had been having an affair with her boss for a couple years at this point. And he had just found out, and he was in a really bad spot mentally. He was hurt and things like that. And knowing my brother, I know he's not in the best spot as far as things. He's made some choices earlier in his life and made some mistakes. And he, obviously when you have a record in certain things, certain opportunities, certain things are closed to you, right? And I'm knowing this. And if you know, nowadays once you get caught up in the system, it's hard to get out, right? So me being in the position that I was in, I felt it was my place to step up and lend my brother a helping hand, be there for my brother. So I called him. I told him I was flying back into Michigan the next day. Told him asked him to pick me up from the airport so we could talk, and he agreed. He told me he would be there. He would come to pick me up from the airport, and I planned on having a talk with him. You know, just to basically what everybody was reaching out for me to do. You know what I mean? For me to do in the first place, right? So, like, the details of the affair are really, really messed up. You know, like, it's like she was a housekeeper. So she's in the hotel rooms where she's supposed to be cleaning the hotels, and her boss are sliding off in the rooms having an affair. And within this affair, she became pregnant, she had an abortion, and all these other things that my brother had just found out. So I'm thinking like, holy shit, I need to be there. So I call him. He picks me up from the airport. So he picks me up from the airport. We go back to my house. My house isn't far from the airport. We get there, and while I was gone out in Michigan, I had a fraud thing. If anybody knows, when there's fraud to your account or your cards possibly come up missing, you pretty much scrap those and you get new cards, and with that comes new. You know what I mean? If you have anything on auto pay, you have to reset it up. Well, I was out here, you know what I mean? I was locked into my recovery. You know, I had torn my Achilles. I was focusing on trying to get back and still have a career. So I didn't pay attention to it. And when we got back, the power was off in the house. So I was unable to gain access into the house immediately because I have a keypad, things like that. You know, the power was off. So I called the company, paid the bill immediately. It was gonna take us some time for everything to come back on. So I sat out in the truck and I talked with my brother. I talked to him. I told him I knew about the situation. You know, let him know I was sorry about it and things like that. And he goes into details and kind of tells me about the story. Now, as he's telling me this story, the more he's telling me this story, it becomes a little bit more difficult to sympathize, right? He painted her out to be a victim, saying he took advantage of her. He threatened her job, threatened her family if she didn't keep sleeping with him. So she basically slept with him, and then he used that to threaten her to keep sleeping with him. Makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense at all. All right. So, but I'm listening to him. We're talking, all these things. The power comes back on. So we go inside. When we go inside, obviously I have a deep freezer full of food, and I have a refrigerator that had food in it, which the food has gone bad because the power wasn't on. The power wasn't on for maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to pay somebody to come in and clean this. And he's like in the conversation, he's telling me about like how he's been DoorDashing, he's been working, he's been doing this thing. And he's like, shit, I'll do it. He's like, I'll clean it. Now, in my mind, there wasn't much food in the fridge. The deep freezer, half full, but it's mostly like a bunch of like, you know how shit goes in the deep freezer. So it wasn't, for me, it's maybe be like $100 job, $100 for the job or whatever, to just clean the deep freezer and the refrigerator. I paid him $300 to clean my deep freezer and my freezer, and that's just to grab the food and throw it out in the trash, right? So we come to this agreement. Now, before he got started on everything, we're talking, and I told him, right? Because I have 2 houses. I have a house here in Vegas, and then I have a residency back in Michigan. Now, while I was out in Michigan, there was nobody at my residency. So I told him, I'm like, look, if you can't stay with this person, like you can't stay with this woman, right? The level of what he's telling me he's been dealing with since then, and then just everything, it's like almost like he felt like he was stuck because he can't really get he can't really get a house in his name. He can't really get things turned in his name because he's a felon, right? So from there, I offered for him to stay at my house for free. You can stay at my house for free. You don't have to pay me anything, right? I told him, you can save your money, build up your stuff. My brother, if you ever see my brother, anybody knows, my brother's teeth all of the front top of his teeth are rotted out. My brother had a sweet tooth since we were kids, and not the best dental care. So his teeth are really bad. I told him, I got a doctor down in Florida. We can get your teeth fixed, all of that, and get your confidence back, and we can start trying to help you. I mean, move on and recover from this situation, right? My brother has always been the shortest, so he's the oldest, but he's the smallest. So he's always had like a little man's complex, right? So he always wanted to just big brother you. He goes from there, he takes this, and he goes from, man, you be disrespecting disrespecting women, you be disrespecting our mom. What's going on with this? Now, I'm not gonna get into too much personal things with my mom, but people who know my mom knows my mom, you know. But I'm like, what does this have to do with me trying to help you, right? So I'm trying to help him. He wants to start talking about I'm a he-man, woman hater, and some other weird things like that. Like he did mention that in the police report, and it's just like kind of like I brushed it off. It is what it is. Just, it's just like some people you just can't talk to, right? So we go from this to, he's like, oh, I'm gonna need his girl to come and help him clean the deep freezer and help him clean all this stuff out. I'm like, I really don't. Like, at this point, I felt betrayed by her just about as much as he did, because she was taking in our family. She was at everything. She had access to everything as far as a family member would, based on her place in my brother's life. And I felt betrayed by that, so I didn't really want her at my house, but I still allowed her to come and help him. So they come, they start cleaning or whatever. And from there, he ends up leaving. They leave or whatever. I come out, I'm leaving the next day, and I realize that the deep freezer still has like the thawed out water. It's like some packages. It's like stuff still in the deep freezer, right? So I hit him up and I ask him, hey, bro, were you gonna finish the deep freezer? He's like, yeah. Whenever the power came back on, the freezer turned back on. So a lot of the stuff that was defrosted had actually frozen back to the freezer. I'm like, cool, no big deal. He's like, I'm gonna come through today and I'm gonna clean it. All right, cool. So later that evening, he comes back to clean the deep freezer. I was watching a video on the UFC lawsuit, right? At the time, he comes in, he sees the video, he starts saying, oh yeah, man, your lawsuits already changed stuff. You're making everything better for y'all. Y'all getting this. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this hasn't changed anything for us. It was a really dumb thing, and he decides that he wants to argue with me about UFC policy, an active UFC fighter that knows that, Like, I know everything. Like, I'm here every day. I'm out here at the PI. We talk. I talk to these people. The great people that work for the UFC. There's amazing people that work for the UFC. I talk to these people every day, So it's like, whenever he starts, he's like, it's getting into a point where like he's like really trying to argue with me, trying to call me like I'm dumb, like I don't know what I'm talking about, and things like that. So I asked him out. So he's been working a pool job. He installs pools, and he learned from a guy that he worked on his crew. He worked under him, and then he started his own. So my question to him was like, hey, whenever this guy was teaching you about installing pools, were you is this combative and this know-it-all about his business as you are about mine? Because he has this complex where he thinks that just because I'm his little brother, I'm completely inferior to him, right? So we get into it, and then he starts to bring up the he brings up the thing about our mom, and at the time me and my mom hadn't spoken, and it's just like, bro, what does this have to do with you? Why are you even talking about this? So I bring it talking. He starts talking about my household. So I ask him, how is it? Because at the time we had another relative, we'll say relative, that was staying there, and they brought their dog to his house. And the dog had bitten my niece in the face, bit her tooth out of her mouth. And the dog's still at his house. So my thing is, how are you trying to tell me about regulating my life, how I run my household, or any of these things when you still have a dog in your house that attacked your child? You know? So it started again, it went down a whole different road. And it's just like, bro, you can just leave. And he left. So he leaves. Right? And this was maybe Tuesday. The next day, no, this is Wednesday. This is the day before Thanksgiving. So the next day on Thanksgiving, I text him. I send him a text message. And I got it. And here. I sent him a text message that said, Happy Thanksgiving, bro. You know, Happy Thanksgiving, bro. Regardless of anything, still love you. You know what I mean? He just didn't text me back, didn't say anything, which is fine, which is completely fine. You know, I know whenever my brother's emotions get hot, it's like, he's like that. You know what I mean? So I then, the next day, Friday comes around, I text him like, hey, you know, I tried to text you Thanksgiving, you know what I mean? Come around, try to extend the olive branch. You don't want it. Cool. The issue is now I paid you to do a job Monday, and now here it is Friday, and you still haven't done the job. Can you give me half of my money back so I can pay somebody to do the rest of the job? He texts back talking like, oh, man, you like talking shit, bro. Like he's talking shit, talking about, wouldn't nobody have cleaned this. This was nasty. I had to do this, and this. The job wasn't worth $300 just to clean out a fridge and a deep freezer and all these other things. And and from there, he brings up the fact of my daughter, my oldest daughter, was at his house for Thanksgiving, and that I didn't text my daughter or whatever like that, which I ignored because it's not a situation that I'm really going to go into with this, but yeah, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get into that because the things that happened with my daughter, she's a child. And long story short, there was an incident with a overage male, we'll say, where that involved my daughter, where I had to step in, and my brother knows this, and he knows that's exactly why this is a touchy subject for me. So, you know, he's just trying to say things to just kind of get under my skin. I'm just like, bro, I'm not trying to just give me my money back so I can have somebody do the job. He says, no, I'll just show up tomorrow and do it. Cool. At that point, I'm like, cool. That's all I want is just the job to get done. The next day he shows up to do the job, right? So first he sends his girl in, and she asks me about the water hose outside, and something about it wasn't turning on. Now I'm gonna be real. I ignored her ass. I didn't act like she just didn't say anything at all, because like I said, I don't want to talk to you, and I didn't even want her in my house. But he continued. He decided to bring her. So he comes in. They get a bucket, and they start using the sink in the house to get water to funnel it in and wash and clean out the deep freezer or whatever. And I'm laying down. I was asleep at the time. When he's finished, he decided that he was going to come in and give me a piece of his mind, right? So I'm sitting there. I'm in the house, and he comes in, and he's like, bro, what's up with the water hose? Why don't it work? Now, for context on the house that I have in Michigan, I got the house in Michigan, moved into it The next day I flew out, literally the next day, wasn't even in it for 12 hours. The next day I flew out to Vegas, got injured, and had to relocate out to Vegas. So I hadn't even really been in the house or been through it like that. So he comes in and he's asking about it. He's like, bro, how you don't know about how the water work or the faucets in your house, bro? He like, you supposed to be a man. If you a man, real man, whenever he get a house, he walk around the house and he figure out how everything work in that house. And I will admit, I got annoyed at this point because it's like, how are you trying to talk to me about this? I have 2 houses that I maintain and pay for by myself, and you have to share and split everything and struggling to maintain the one house that you keep amongst 3 adults and whoever else they let stay there to help pay them rent, right? So from there, the conversation goes to you ain't text your daughter. He goes back to this with my daughter and with my mom. And now at this point I let him know, yeah, you already know the situation between me and my daughter and all of that. Where was you at whenever the whole thing happened with the overage mom? You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it goes from that to where now I got irritated. So now I'm bringing it up. Like, you talking about respect as a man. You sitting up here taking up for and defending a woman who did you as dirty as you could possibly be done. And why did she do that? Because she don't respect you. She has absolutely no respect for you. And she displayed that in her actions. And you don't even have enough value to yourself as a man to say, yo, I'm not dealing with this. And I'm out. Right? So from there, now he's livid. He gets livid. You know, he gets to talking about like, oh, you all the way out in Vegas, your kids are here and all these things, you know, like I'm not out here for a reason to sort out things so I can keep having a career, so I can keep providing for these kids. You know, same kids he's talking about. He starts to tell me how I'm wrong for after I won the belt, I didn't bring the belt over to his house, and he was disappointed by this. Like I didn't extend this and that to him whenever we had an altercation. Whenever I hit him up to invite him to Thanksgiving, and he declined. Was in his feelings, felt like I owed him an apology, which was asinine to me. And I just like, look, bro, we can move on as family, or we can just drop it here. And that's what he decided to do. So for him to be upset about us not communicating is completely insane. So then I told him, I mean, whenever I brought up the thing, I brought up certain details about the whole situation. What? Oh, I got distracted from behind the camera. When I brought up details about the situation, he gets mad now. And he throws the bucket. He has the bucket in his hand and he throws it at the floor. He didn't throw it at me. He threw it at the floor and pulls up his pants like, you a bitch ass N-word. That was some bitch ass shit. And I'm like, bro, you in my house. I'm not a bitch. You're not going to treat me like a bitch. Don't call me a bitch. He then, it's like, you got me fucked up, pulls his pants up and walks right up in my face. When he walked up in my face, I put my hand on his chest, pushed him back like, yo, back up off me. Now, he's short and I got big hands. When I pushed him, my finger caught him in his mouth and then pushed him back. He just makes a whole, oh, bro, you just hit me. It's like, no, I backed you up off me. I pushed him back up off me. Now, at this point now, he's talking. And he's talking like I don't know if anybody's ever been in a situation where somebody's trying to talk, but they're trying to inch close enough to you to where they can, you know what I mean, to where they can sucker punch you, where they can sneak you, right? So I'm like, bro, stop walking up on me. I'm not trying to fight you. At this point, he keeps walking up to me. So the way my house is set up, the kitchen leads right into the living room. So I'm backing up. I'm literally backing up. Like, bro, I'm not trying to hurt you. Stop walking up on me. Constantly asking him to stop walking up on me. And then at this point, the kids that he say were right there, They weren't. My kids are upstairs. We're upstairs in their room playing. So they don't even know what's going on at this point. My daughter heard something. She come down. She peeked around. The way my stairs are, if you peek from the opening of the stairs after you come down towards the bottom, you can see the living room and you can see into the kitchen. I see her. I tell her immediately, go back upstairs. Go back upstairs. I sent my daughter back upstairs. Now, when I turn around, now I'm further into the living room, right? Now he's walking and he's turning and he cornered me in my living room by my couch. And I'm steady telling him, bro, don't speak. Man, all I'm saying is, and he tried to hit me. Like he literally took a swing at me. He took a swing at me. I rolled, it slipped and missed. And I grabbed him. When I grabbed him in a clinch. I pulled his head down, grabbed his arm, pulled his head down, and I pushed him backwards to where he stumbled back into the kitchen, right? At this point, when he goes back into the kitchen, when he stumbles back into the kitchen, now I'm pissed. You know what I mean? You just swung at me. I'm pissed. I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of my house. I'm telling him to leave, asking him to leave my house. You know, get out of my house. He won't leave, and he starts towards me again. At this point, my kid's mom, who was standing, she was standing in the living room, she was upstairs with the kids. She's now standing and she's in the living room, and she comes in and is like, what are y'all doing? She gets in between us. When she gets in between us, she puts her back to him and turns and pushes me, right? She turns and she pushes me. But when she pushed me, I'm assuming that was a time where he thought was his best chance to swing again, and he swings at me again. Only this time, he punches my kid's mom in the head. Like, full blown, bop, right upside the head. She goes down, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So, my reaction, just jab. I threw a jab. I jabbed him one time in the face, right? When I jabbed him, his eyes rolled, he stumbled back, and his girl caught him. She caught him, and he didn't fall. And he stands up, he kind of gets his legs and his bearing back, and then he's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, you're some bitch ass. He's like, that's some bitch ass shit. I should shoot your motherfucking ass. He starts literally threatening me with a gun, right? I'm steady telling him, leave now. You really need to leave my house, right? Leave my house. Get out now. He then goes to my back. I have another bathroom by the back door and by the garage. He goes, he looks in the mirror, and he comes back like, oh yeah. He sees that his face, he had a little bit of swelling in his face. He comes back and he's like, oh yeah, if my nieces and my nephews wasn't here, I'll kill you. Now I'm pissed. Now I'm like, bro, get out of my house or I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. You know what I mean? So now he goes into the backyard. He's going out the garage, and now he's sitting up. He's mad. He's saying all these things, and then you gonna pay for what you did. You gonna pay for this. You gonna pay for this. As if he didn't just punch my kid's mom in the head, try to swing on me, and all these things. And the only reason why he's even in my house is because of a situation that he went through that I was trying to help him with. So it's like, get out of my house. So he gets out, he goes and he sits in his truck in my driveway. He sat out in his truck in my driveway for like 2.5 hours. During which time, I say maybe 15 minutes go by. 15 minutes go by. You know, I kind of calmed down a little bit, you know, and yeah, I felt that I know myself, and I know I would never want to cause or inflict harm on anybody in my family, especially my brother, you know? And I go out to his car and I tell him, now he's on the phone with my dad, and my dad heard all of this. So anybody that thinks I'm like, this is backed up by fact. Our father heard me say, brother, I know whatever, regardless of whatever happened in there, regardless of whatever bullshit you were on, I would never, ever want to do that to your face. And doing that to your face, for that, I apologize. I'm sorry for my part in this situation. Heartfelt, dead ass apologize to this man, knowing he was dead ass in the wrong. even though he punched my kids and the moms in the head, and he didn't even apologize to her. I apologized to him. And then he goes, and then my dad, I hear my dad over the phone. This is how I knew my dad was on the phone. He's like, bro, your brother really mean that. He really trying to say, he's really trying to apologize. And he turns into a straight female. But like just, oh, but you did do that. You did do like start talking with his hands and shit. I don't accept your apology. Put my hands, I'm cool. That's fine. I offer the apology. You don't want to accept it. I'm done with this situation. So I go back into my home. He sits outside and calls my manager, my coach, just our dad, our mom, anybody he could think of to try to get them to reach out to me and try to lay whatever. I'm not like I need to pay or whatever. So from there, he starts sending me text messages. He leaves and he starts sending me text message. And the first text message he sent, it was before he even left. He hadn't even left my driveway. It was before I even went out. You know you effed up, bro. Do I need to get the people involved or what? Question mark. I don't respond. Question mark. Starts sending me pictures. He starts sending me pictures in a victim pose, basically saying, you know what I mean, look what you did. And this is where he starts with. He sends a text message saying, you give fair fights for a living. You decided our conversation was worth sucker punching me. It's the first time I heard the narrative of the sucker punch. What's the move now? Because I ain't went to the hospital yet. I'm trying to give you an opportunity to make this right without me getting the people involved or feeling like I need to go public with it. Regardless, I need to go get checked out. The swelling's getting worse. Thanks, champ. And he goes on with this for the next, I'll say, day or so. And he's just sending me text messages basically saying that either I can give him money or he's going to call the cops and he's going to try to derail my career and things like that. And I don't do well with extortion. So for me, the situation's over. I extended an apology. This is my brother. We got into it. You swung at me. You were the aggressor here. So it's just over. For me, it's just over. I just let it go. And I didn't respond to it. Now, for context of so you know that this was just mainly about money and jealousy. We grew up in the house with four of us, four boys. Same situation happened maybe a couple years earlier, where I was excluding myself, him, and my two other brothers that we all grew up in the house with, got into a fight in his house. They all fought each other in his house. Nobody called the police. Nobody needed to go public with it. Nobody ever talked about it again. So what's different now? Am I not your brother? You feel what I'm saying? And that's kind of how I took that. I just ignored it. I ignored the text messages. I didn't respond. And I was going to fly back to Vegas the next day. Well, I was going to meet up with some friends and getting ready to go out. You know, I got my little party favors and shit ready to go. Getting ready to get in there. I go get in my car. Next thing I know, my entire block is lit up by like 10 or 12 police cars. And them coming to tell me I was under arrest for domestic violence. So, and yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty much the story from there. Like me and my brother, I tried to help my brother out. He had harbored some serious resentment for me. That the people and that's the thing, the people in my family that were telling me to reach out to him and talk to him, they knew these things. They knew this. I had no idea that me following my dreams and me having success in the things that I work for could possibly lead to my brother feeling this type of way about me. And it sucks. It sucks. And I just like, yeah. Yeah, so whatever's what happened, the story came out, it got plastered everywhere. Trial date was set and all of these things. And the charges were dismissed simply because I have a really good lawyer. I have a good lawyer, and I got a good private investigator who did some research, and they found some interesting things. Like the guy that his girlfriend was having the affair with, when he found out, he went to this man's house and tried to extort him. So he's been trying, anytime he's having a problem with people, he's constantly trying to extort money out of him. And it was just crazy that he did it. And then now I was just the next one in line. And we had the evidence ready to prove and show that. So from there, the prosecutor dropped the case. Now, the reason why I'm even saying this or speaking on this or putting this out is because the police report is out. The police report is out, and it painted me in a way that which I wouldn't want my kids to think like to see that and not see their dad defend himself or not hear a word from me, right? So that's the main reason why I'm putting this out or even speaking on this story or any of that. The people that are out making fun of this situation and thinking this situation is funny, that somebody's family turning on them for money is sick, bro. It's sick, bro. Like where have we come along at as people where shit like that is okay? And then even mentioning bringing up the stuff with my daughter. My daughter was underage in a situation with a man that was overaged, right? And me doing what any father would have done, right? Protecting my daughter. And for it to turn into all of this and for y'all to like me, hate me, whatever, I'm cool with that. Y'all can say whatever, all he's salty, he's all this and he's that. But this whole family thing is like, that's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And I'm going to put this out there and I'm just going to leave it at this. I'm not going to speak on it again. Any comments I see from it, I'm just going to take you as the garbage ass person that you are. And I'm going to just keep moving and doing my thing. You already know I'm locked in. I'm in camp right now. I'm sticking to my purpose, bro. My purpose is to be the best fighter and do the best that I can and provide for my family and lay a foundation for my children that wasn't given to me. And that's what I continue to do. That's who I am. That's what I'm all about. And yeah, man. I'm just gonna put this out there. And I don't really know. There's no real way to end this because it's something that still sucks to this day, you know? But I just wanted to put my side out there, tell my side of the story. And yeah, bro. It is what it is. The case was dropped back in April. So I haven't been like, I just kind of moved on. I kind of moved on with it from there. It does suck. It does invoke certain emotion. Most people, I know I've been pegged as an emotional person and things like that, but this is one of those things that it is what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I'm talking too much. Sweet Dreams Nation, the people that love me, support me, you know what I mean, that really rock with me, that don't know how to switch up. I truly appreciate y'all. The people in my life close to me that have put their love over me. You know, I appreciate y'all. I thank you and I love you. And yeah, man. Fuck the haters. I'm out.